Good morning, Egg Harbor Township. Welcome to my edition 2 of my number crunch here. It's a residential market update housing report, and this time it's on Egg Harbor Township. So I love you guys. I love Egg Harbor Township. I currently serve as the chairperson of the Egg Harbor Township Economic Development Commission. Lived there for a long time, own a bit of real estate in Egg Harbor Township. Kind of the heart of Atlantic County, so an important segment for myself professionally, as well as the growth of the offshore market here in South Jersey. So this report is going to just be kind of like a deep dive into the third quarter, what happened here in Egg Harbor Township, and just a little bit behind methodology. We are looking at numbers that are coming from South Jersey Shore Regional MLS, so right out of real estate data. And we're looking at residential one-family transactions. So single-family homes, condominium units, anything that's just a one-family residential dwelling, not multi-family apartment buildings, duplexes, triplexes, nothing like that. No land, no commercial, just residential one-family dwelling. So without further ado, I'll jump into the bulk of the report. So exciting time. The market's been in a lot of momentum. If you've seen the broad markets that I shared over the course of the last week and a half, the county in general is in good momentum. As we dive into as we dive into Egg Harbor Township, not a whole lot different from what you're seeing. What I will point out, though, is the dynamic that Egg Harbor Township still has a fairly high level of defaults, right? I think we're around 17, 18% as I slide down and we look at the bank-owned impact. We can see that there's still a big number of bank-owned sales. And what's happening is that's contributing to what we're seeing in terms of sales prices. Because our general economic principle, as we see, we have almost 10% more sales took place in the third quarter of 2017 than the third quarter of 2016. So that's a healthy increase in the number of sales. We also saw 2% fewer listings come to market. So typical conventional wisdom would say that we have a market that's moving in a positive direction in terms of sales with a little bit of a limited inventory that's taking place. So prices should move up, right? Except that we saw a little bit of a backwards movement in terms of pricing. And so where that comes into play is as we slide down again and we look at what's happening with the number of bank-owned sales. And I shared this over the years. If you've seen articles that I've been quoted in the Press of Atlantic City, for instance, a few other publications, we look all the way back to 2013. There were only 7 bank-owned sales in Egg Harbor Township. The last 2 years, there were the last 3 years, there were over 30. So we had an enormous increase. And so when the market goes from, right, 1 or 2 out of 70 to, 1 out of 17, like we get up into 17, 18% of the market, 20% of the market in some cases, last year, for instance. And we see that high of a concentration of bank-owned properties. You just have to take into consideration, and I've shared this with some of the local news sources over the years, right? When you're dealing with that high of a volume of properties that are not like the well cared for homes that perhaps you own and maintain and take great care of and improve when they need improvements, right? They're not that kind of an asset. Instead, it's a property that in some cases, you probably have seen sit vacant over the course of the last 2, 3, 4 years, right? Maybe even more, 5, 6 years, right? They haven't been maintained. They haven't been updated. They haven't even been cared for. In some cases, they've been vandalized, stripped on the way out, and just not at the same level of condition. And so when you get to a point where you see 17, 18% of the sales representing that segment of the market, like it or not, it's going to have an impact on value. So that's where we are. So we have a healthy movement overall. A lot of momentum in the market. The real positive that we're seeing is when we look at listing activity, again, we're down 2% in terms of new listings that came onto the market in the third quarter. How that's impacted absorption rate, which is the rate at which homes it will take to sell all of the homes on the market currently, right? 5.3 in Egg Harbor Township. When you look at long-term historic principles, right? When you have less than a 6-month supply, 5-6 month supply, look at my absorption report also on the site. That is an indication that the market is leaning more towards a seller's market, that there's not enough supply to keep up with the demand, and that prices will have a tendency to appreciate. So we see a number, if we look back here, right, at where Egg Harbor Township was in terms of absorption back in April, we can see that Egg Harbor Township was at a 13-month supply, right? And now all of a sudden we're greatly reducing that number. So we're really competitive market. Days on market is also down dramatically. We scroll down, and now I take it a step deeper in terms of absorption. We've got in the starter home price point, right, which I'm defining in my market segmentation. I'm defining starter homes, trade-up homes, and premium luxury market. Our starter homes, which are anything that is at median and below, right, we have a 4.1 supply, very fast-moving market. When you get to median times 2, right, so 185 to 370 in this case, we have a healthy kind of balanced market, 6.4 month supply. When you get up into the top end of the market, just like I said yesterday in Mainland District, still some challenges, but definitely a far better, far closer to being a balanced market than we were just 6 months ago. So a lot of momentum moving in all segments. When we look at our 5-year look back for Egg Harbor Township, again, kind of exciting development. We can see median certainly move backwards. Nothing that's a surprise. But we also look at the number of sales, how we've maintained a healthy increase over the course of those 5 years. All the way back in 2013, 136 sales. This past quarter, 191. So a big uptick in terms of the number of transactions, the number of closings. Again, a lot of momentum in the market, a lot of bank-owned properties. But again, like I said, in the other towns, the good news is they're selling at just as fast a clip as they're coming onto the market. In most cases with multiple offers when they finally hit the market. So that's all good numbers, good things to share. The other positive is when you look at separating what's really happening with median and you separate the bank-owned sales from the non-distressed sales, you can see we have a significantly higher median sales price around the homes that are not distressed. So obviously a positive for the market. So good stuff. So take a look through there. I hope this is informative, whether you're looking to buy a home in Egg Harbor Township or you currently own a home and you're just trying to better understand the market. I think that we've created one page here that's going to offer a lot of information, a lot of answers to your questions. You can also see an example as to what you're getting for the money currently with inventory in the starter home segment, as well as the trade-up home segment, right, as well as the premium luxury home segment. So lots of information here. In addition, if you're looking to buy, there's also a complete list of all the school information for Egg Harbor Township. All the elementary schools, middle schools, the high school, even private schools that are in the township. There's a report for every single one of them that's here. Take a look. It's a great resource. Anything we can do to help support or answer any questions you have, and hopefully making this a resource for you to make a more informed decision, whether it's in the fourth quarter of 2017 or whether we're moving into 2018. Thanks so much. Any questions that you have, leave them in a chat here or send us a private message. We'd be excited to answer any questions you have and help you make the best decision moving forward. Have a fantastic weekend. Thank you.